Welcome to the Better Together podcast, where we look at ways that we can work together to help each other in the ministry. And today I have Chris and Kim Truett from Kinston, North Carolina. Chris is the pastor there at Bethel Free Will Baptist Church, and he and Miss Kim went to Japan this past summer on an E-team mission trip, didn't you guys? So, hey, you're in Nashville today. We thank you for stopping in to see us today.
Thank you for having us. We're excited about to tell our story.
Well, we're excited to have you guys to be with us. So what in the world you're pastoring, you're living in North Carolina, you're pastoring Bethel Free Will Baptist Church, you've got your busy family and everything. How did you end up heading off to Japan as part of a E-team mission trip?
Eddie, I was getting in my truck one day and there at the church and headed to make a hospital visit or something like that, just middle of the day. And got a call from IM, and they were talking about E-team and said, hey, we know that Bethel Church has been real involved in mission trips, Hannah Project, things like that. Do you have anybody you think could be a sponsor for an E-team? And I said, well, tell me a little bit about what you're talking about, where, and so they told me the options there. There'll be a few options of where. We could kind of have some input on that. But Kim and I had been praying. I had been on about 3 mission trips before that, but Kim had never had an opportunity to go on one. And we were praying about something we could do together. And so the more IM kept talking with us about it, I said, hey, this might be something Kim and I would like to do. And they were kind of shocked. I said, let's back up a minute. We're talking about 3.5 weeks of commitment here. And I said, well, let me, first of all, talk to Kim. And then second of all, let's see where that goes. Let me see what our family schedule is for the summer. And then I'm going to need to talk to our deacons and our staff at our church. And when I brought it home that night and said, Kim, I got an interesting phone call today. And she would have left that day, I believe.
Wow.
She was just excited about the possibility. And that's kind of how it started and went from there. And that's where it went.
Well, Kim, it's not every day your husband comes in and says, hey, let's go to Japan. What were you thinking there?
Well, I really didn't know what to think. But like he said, we had been praying, and I had really wanted to go somewhere. But what interested me so much was the leadership with the team also. So I kind of felt like we had 2 mission trips in one, kind of. Because we really, really got to minister to the students on the first side of the trip, and then the second part, being with the Snows and being with them in Japan, was just amazing.
Wow! So you were able to work it out. IM asked, you started thinking about it, and you come home, and Kim's like, "Let's do it." And then it ends up where it's a ministry to the students. It's also a ministry there in Japan. So there's probably some parents listening and thinking, oh, I couldn't be away from my kids for this long. How could I send them to a country, far away like Japan? Let's talk a bit about that. Why should parents think about their kids going on a mission trip like this during the summertime?
Well, I understand the safety and security issues. We had a trip a couple of years ago with just our church. We were headed to a country, and things got bad in that country. A travel ban arose from US.gov, and we just kind of decided, talking with that missionary, hey, it's probably not the best time. Let's reschedule. And so we understand those things. But IM is very, very, very safety conscious and very well trained and well read, and their staff just does a great job of knowing where you are. And then you're with our missionaries. Of course, we were in Japan for Americans. Where we were, Japan was very safe at that time.
Yes.
We were with the missionaries. Nathan and Linda Snow were just incredible. So that part of it, we felt very secure with what we were doing. Now, we're on the other side of this coming summer. Our youngest son is headed to E-team.
I see.
So we're kind of on the other side of that now, thinking, okay, we talked a good talk. Now can we walk the walk? So we're trusting the Lord now too. And
right.
But it was just an incredible experience for us. the students, our team at least, we had an incredible team. And Kim is so right. There was the ministry to our team of students, the first week especially. And then the next 2 weeks, you're with them every moment, but then you're ministering to the people in the field that you're at. And just what an incredible experience.
Well, let's explore that a little bit. So you've got a son that's about to head off. Where's he going to go?
Cuba.
Oh, he's going to go to Cuba. And so in a different culture, a different language, different food, all of that. But it's a good thing spiritually. It's also a good thing psychologically and with emotional development. And one thing, if what you're mentioning is our missionaries have a good track record with keeping people safe, but also think about how many of your colleges these days talk about there's international travel for a class. This is something a person can do as a high school student. We do have a college missionary program too, but this is something they can do as a high school student. And really, I suspect you saw these students' eyes opened as they went over to Japan. Talk a bit about that. What was it like when they got into the country and they began to minister to the people there?
Well, for me, it was just so refreshing to see these kids put action into what we had talked about. And when you're in Gallatin at Welch campus and you're together with your friends and everything, it's easy to be excited. But then when you get to Hokkaido, Japan, it's a whole different ballgame. But our students were just unbelievable. And they developed a bond with the younger children and with the parents through homestays and things like that. And everywhere we went and everything we asked them to do, they gave it 100%.
That's great.
And they fell in love with the people and cried when we had to leave. I mean, it was just so encouraging to me. And then when we came back with Clint and he did our debriefing, to hear that 6 out of 8 of our students felt called to the missions program, it made everything worthwhile.
So, wow, think about the transformation, the spiritual growth. Think about how you kids have to be a bit homesick, but still cried, and their eyes are open to the mission possibilities. Wow, that's something money really can't buy.
And we're still in contact with them. We have a group message. They text us. They message us, especially the girls. Our ratio was 9 girls.
7 girls.
7 girls and 2 guys. 7 girls, 2 guys. So a lot more of the girls with Kim, 2 guys with me. And of course the guys don't message as much, but the girls message Kim a lot, asking her for advice, asking her to pray. We've got a couple at Welch now. We've got, I think, 3 more of our team headed there next year. And so matter of fact, Kim's having lunch with some of them tomorrow, taking them to lunch just because we're here in Nashville, some of our E-team kids. And over Christmas, we corresponded with them. One sent us a prayer request last week. I need you, Miss Kim, urgently. Got a prayer request. And I just look forward to watching that bond over the years that we made in a 3.5 week.
That's great.
But we could talk to you all day about this. It was so much of an impact on our lives. But now also we had great missionaries that we went with. Nathan and Linda Snow were incredible hosts, and our kids jumped in. We stayed in their home, all of us in one home. Now their home is a little bit different. It's big and it's laid out for that kind of thing. But man, our kids jumped in and helped and washed dishes and fixed supper. And so it wasn't all the burden on Linda. We didn't want it to be. But man, they were incredible hosts. And we were on the go. I mean, we were on the go. This was not a sightseeing trip, although we got to see some sights.
Right. But you were ministering.
We were ministering. And man, boy, like I said, I could go on and on about what we were able to do.
So maybe you're a young person thinking about doing E-Team. You can see this would be a very valuable experience if you're a parent, something to think about. And even our pastors, we really encourage them to share the possibilities of E-Team with their congregation and then to support kids who get accepted to be able to go and do that. Your situation's a bit different. You had supported as pastor in the past, some of your children going off to E-team, but you yourselves end up heading overseas and ministering. So tell us a bit about that. Why might a pastor consider doing that kind of work, doing this, and how might it change them?
It will forever have changed our ministry as a pastor and pastor's wife. First of all, I've got to give a shout out to Bethel Church. I could not have done it if my church hadn't supported me with it. And they were 100% in support of us going to Japan. I sent back some videos from Japan while we were there, some FaceTimes, and did what we could to keep them in the loop. But they were 100% behind us. And so that support had to be there for me to be gone 3.5 weeks, and our church staff as well. But our deacons were so supportive. And then, Eddie, for me, I have gone on another missions trip, and I come back, and as much as I try to explain it to her, what happened, and you weren't there. For her and I to go together, and then we came back, and we shared an entire hour and a half with our whole church about our experience. But it wasn't just preacher up there sharing it. It was Kim sharing what happened, and man, what an incredible time for us. But for her to be able to experience it with me, of course, now E-team is different. You need a couple. You need that male and female for the most part. But it was life-changing for us to be experienced together. I would encourage any and every pastor. First of all, every pastor, I believe, my opinion, needs to go visit a mission field. It will change your perspective. Then if you want to take another step, you host 10, 11, 12, 15 high school students in airports man, they're valuable, so valuable.
Yes.
Man, we fell in love with those kids, with those people in Japan. Matter of fact, on the drive here this week, Kim is sitting here just going, I want to go again. I want to go again right now. Let's go. I said, Kim, we can't go every year, just logistically, and our own family and our church family, but we will do it again if our church allows us. But she is ready to go tomorrow.
That's good. So it really made a difference for the two of you. We could probably bring someone from your church, and they would probably tell us similarly. It really enhanced the ministry. It's been good for the church as well. What were you going to say, Kim?
I'm thankful that we had that experience, and then us being able to bring that experience back. We now have 3 students going from our church.
There you go.
E-team.
So it's kind of expanded from there.
Right.
And so you're saying a pastor should go on a mission trip to have a good sense of what's involved, but this is a way that you're actually doing pastor kind of things as you're working with these younger folks and able to minister. So if it is something that a pastor could pull off in their particular ministry, wow, something to look at, something to contribute. So I can tell a lot of our people are listening to this, but you could go online and you could look at the video, and you would see that they truly are quite excited as they talk about their travels and the different things they experienced. Any other words of encouragement to think about E-team, or that you'd like to share with our audience before we close out today?
Well, I would say if there's any way possible, whether you're a pastor or not, I just think it's an awesome, awesome ministry opportunity. And like I said, again, it's first with the kids and then with the mission trip. And it forever has changed me. And I would go again today if I could.
That's great. That's great.
3.5 week commitment for E-team trip is a lengthy time. But I wouldn't trade anything in the world for having this experience. And again, I just owe so much first to IM for the opportunity, and then to Bethel Church for allowing us to have the opportunity, and our leadership of our church seeing the importance of missions in their pastor's life and in the life of our church. She said 3 in our church that are going, and I think we've got 1 or 2 more in our school who attend other Free Will Baptist churches who are going also. So it's a great opportunity for the student, for the leaders, and for the church to get involved. Then if you have students going to E-team, pastors, support. That child needs the support financially.
Yes.
It's a major financial obligation. So I encourage our churches support those students. If they're going to E-Team, and we've talked about, we need students, we're looking for the next generation to go and take the gospel to the nations, okay? Then we need to step up to the plate and support that financially to get this next generation to have a taste to where they might be the next Laverne Miley, or as when we got to Hokkaido, the next Fred Hersey.
There you go.
So,
Yes.
and you never know who in your group could be that next one.
That's wonderful.
So, all I can say is put your money where your mouth is, pastors. If we love missions, let's support these students as well as missions around the world.
That's great. Well, thank you all for being willing to go and to spend the time there in Japan and training those students before you left there in Gallatin. Thank you also for stopping by to be with us today. And if you'd like to learn more about E-Team, just go to iminc.org and you can just scroll down and you'll find E-Team there. There's a picture. There's another video of this couple talking about their ministry in Japan, and you can learn much there. And we just encourage you to be praying for our missionaries and do what you can. Those of you out there listening, to support kids who would like to go and engage in this particular ministry. Thank you all for stopping in to see us today.
Thank you, Eddie. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.